I don't know if you guys know about this case, but it came up, I don't know, a couple months ago, I think, and people already knew who it was. And obviously, somebody knew who it was because there's a story about it where they were getting followed. But anyway, that usually happens to the victims. And I wasn't sure if this case had to do with them trying to protect the victims in it, but technically, I guess not. This kind of raised a weird dilemma in it because they can all kind of claim this. And if you do a crime like this, then I mean, I don't see how you should be getting protected. I mean, you didn't feel bad about it during it. But, anyways, Australian TV star charged with rape and torture reveals she fears attacks by vigilantes, and her name is kept secret following suicide attempt. Okay. So this is actually pretty common with these perpetrators, just that they do that. I'm just saying. Should they be protected from other people? Yeah, but do I think they should have their name not released? It depends. Like, it would depend. A case where I can see it happening is if the victims request, this would be my only time I would stand with this. If the victims request that they not release the name because it would out them as victims, like something like that, right? That's the only time I could like legitimately see like a reason for it. But outside this, I think it's nonsense. But anyway, this is Australia. So, a woman was charged with child sex offenses. She lives in fear of vigilante attacks if ID revealed. But it was already, okay, I'm going to tell you this. It was already revealed like a while ago, and there's conversations about it. And so we have to respect the court thing and not like out people. But I mean, it's not very hard, okay? But it says an Australian TV star is living in fear of being targeted by vigilantes after she was charged with 37 historic child abuse offenses, including rape and torture. Um, you commit the crime for this long. Watch how long they did it. The television personality is accused of carrying out the alleged crimes between 2005 and 2023 at various locations across Queensland. The charges include 8 counts of rape, 1 count of sexual assault, 17 counts of indecent treatment of children under 16, 2 charges of torture and further assault offenses. Her partner has also been charged with 7 counts of assault and cannot be identified for legal reasons. I mean, maybe it's because she got the order, and so then, therefore, if you name him, there's a thing. Somebody that actually knows the people said everything was true. So I'm just saying, I'm just repeating what I read. But the mystery star won the bid to keep her identity a secret on Monday amid mental health concerns after a recent suicide attempt. But she's gonna feel that way anyway. You know what I mean? Because she's going up against a court where she's probably not gonna get out. So, yeah, I mean, all these perpetrators, a lot of them do that. My issue with this is that they need to make sure that these people don't do anything because it's really bad for the victims when they do something, and nobody even cares when they do because they want them. They're asking for the death penalty in one state in Florida, which I think is unreal. But no, you don't want them to because it harms the case and the victims for not getting justice and some of this stuff. And they need to be put away where they don't harm the public. And in some cases, rehabilitated, which I mean, I don't know if you could really rehabilitate them, but to the point where they don't reoffend. But this is that's a long time, you guys. So, yeah, and it's 2 people. But her lawyer, so I don't know why the main focus is on her, but he also did something here. So the way that the media writes it, it seems like, oh, it's only her. I don't know. The mystery star won the bid to keep her identity a secret. Okay, but her lawyers revealed in court that she's also terrified she's being stalked and being attacked by outraged members of the public if her name is revealed. I have been as a victim, so like what the hell? And it wasn't even my choice to have anybody go and tell the perpetrator I told somebody else. Like that was that whole other thing. So, I don't know why she gets special treatment above all other victims or anything, but you do the crime, you got to do the time, right? I mean, obviously you didn't care when you were doing it, right? So now she wants pity for her getting in trouble. I have a problem with this. I do. Again, I would only be for this if the victims were requesting that they keep her identity private because of the relation to the perpetrator. I would respect that. You know what I mean? I would actually totally understand that. The defendant fears for her safety and feels there's evidence vigilantes will attempt to harm them, destroy property, and reveal their identity. Again, that happened to us, so I mean, am I supposed to feel bad it happened to a perpetrator? No. But nobody should be doing that conduct, and it's unreal, and it's been going on by the public for a long time, and nobody should be acting like that. I've never promoted doing that. I've never done that, and it's disgusting, and I've had major problems because of this. And if you go through my clips, you'll see me talking about stuff like that, and I'm furious. I mean, I'm literally furious. I'm furious about the lack of F's about it. And I'm not the perpetrator. It makes more sense that somebody would try to go after the perpetrator than it does the victims, but we have it, it's actually more towards victims most of the time. Coupled with online abuses, she's confronted with statements or questions suggesting she perpetrated the alleged offenses. If you're being held to all these different things, it's more than likely something did happen here. Yeah, there were some additions I was saying when I was going through this the other night. Okay, so Richland court heard details of the moment when she was convinced three men were about to confront her in a shopping center car park. So they already know who she is. See, the public already knows who she is. So, I mean, what is, they already know who she is. I'm just saying. She recalled returning to her vehicle after grocery shopping and observing three men alight from another vehicle in close proximity to hers. For various reasons, she believes these people must have followed her from her home to the shops. Yeah, mine, they got information from my YouTube channel and apparently some stuff, so I don't know. But I didn't have anything really on it prior, so I don't know. There's some questions in this stuff. But anyway, the defendant referred to increased anxiety that manifested into panic attacks when she got home, but she got into her car, her lawyer, and locked the door. The men were later revealed to be news reporters, well, who confronted the TV personality on the day the news came. Well, then they have a right, right? Allowing some people who are accused of sexual offenses in Queensland to be named. Oh, it was news reporters, so it wasn't like some vigilantes like trying to take her down. It's just the news reporters going, "Do you have any question?" That thing, right? The following day, the woman's lawyer moved quickly to get a court order to suppress her identity. After lawyers for the alleged victim and media organizations launched a legal bid to fight the court order, they ruled Monday for it to be upheld. In his judgment, they cited concerns for the woman's mental health after she spontaneously attempted suicide on September 15th amid the media attention surrounding her case. But again, it didn't have anything, most of this stuff doesn't have anything to do with the actual attention from the media from it. It has something to do with them getting in trouble and then they don't want to be held for their crimes. Because it's, if you go through a lot of these cases, like even like some guy caught with child porn will go and do this, right? And it's just the mentality of it. So then all these perpetrators can claim this and then they'll never be outed. You know what I mean? Like the public needs to be aware of who these people are just generally, but no, don't be, well, what she was trying to claim actually didn't really happen. It was the media, right? That happens to victims more often, having the psychotics going after us. We feel hopeless and helpless about the situation when a friend suggested that she have half a glass of red wine with Valium to help sedate her. She has a complex past personal and medical history. However, so that's not a good excuse for, she was very well aware of what she was doing and the conduct that they're holding her to. However, the woman wasn't thinking properly. Didn't want to be here anymore and attempted suicide. Yeah, so, I mean, sociopath. Okay, so She was rushed to the hospital in ambulance before later being released under continuous supervision and with the support of the family and friends. Following the hospitalization, the woman was referred to a criminal and forensic psychologist for assessment. The psychologist found that the allegations have had a profound adverse impact on the woman. Okay, so we're giving sympathy to a total abuser. Again, this is such a she's a sociopath. Like this is part of the things that they do. But yeah, they'll start playing, oh, pity me, even though the allegations have an adverse effect. It's like you abusing some kids and torture. Like it had torture in it and doing this stuff and it's like what do you think you did to them? Like what the hell? This is the craziest thing I've seen. He noted she displayed symptoms of depression and anxiety and was struggling to function with day-to-day tasks and that she remained at high risk of suicide. Yeah, the harm to self and others, right? Socio, right there. Like that thing comes in on it, like that other thing. So, like I said, not all depression is alike. This is this garbage right here. So, the release of her identity to the broader public poses a significant destabilizing factor upon her mental state, and more so. But she committed the crimes, and so she would know that eventually you would get in trouble for them, so she didn't care. Now she cares because she got caught. I mean, her capacity for judgment and reasoning for psychologists report. Okay, anyway. As such, the risk of intentional self harm or suicide remains high, as it would if it was, regardless of what happens here. So you should just make sure she doesn't do that. But this is just dumb. The aggravating factor is her related impairments and self regulation, which are a product of her mental health disorder. Is that a personality disorder, mental health disorder, or personality disorder, as evident by her suicide attempt? In making his decision, Simpson said there would be a few better examples of special vulnerability of a defendant for meeting the criteria of suppression order, and that the woman is a fragile person that is a risk to herself. Oh my gosh. He said the woman's safety was paramount, dismissing the lawyer's argument that she should be identified for the sake of open justice, public interest, and desire of her alleged victims to identify themselves. And the desire of her alleged victims to identify themselves. Yeah, the only reason that I would be for this again is if it had something to do with protecting the victims in this, but they're not arguing that. I mean, they're not arguing it. So, I mean, I don't know. There was no thing on it. And then they don't even let you comment on this, or they didn't comment. Anyways, I thought I'd read that to you guys because it's one of the strange ones, and hopefully we don't see a lot of this garbage going on. But it is in Australia, I guess, so.